When I was laid off, I honestly thought that I would have another job in a month, or that my old company would hire me back, maybe in a different position or in a different department. That didn't happen 3 months later. I've applied for hundreds of jobs. I've got, I don't know, maybe 10 interviews. I was rejected by all and ghosted by most. Here are the 5 things that I've learned through this process that I wish I knew when I started. If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Jo. I'm 57 years old and was 4 months ago now, laid off from my position. It's a scary place to be at this age. So let me hop into now kind of the 5 things that I've learned through this that I think are really the most important things that I think other people should know as well. The first thing is your experience does not guarantee opportunity. Actually, it can kind of hinder us at this age. If you put all that experience on your resume, it makes you look old. So I've kind of learned to cut things off, and then I address things that may be important to that job in my cover letter, just mentioning that I also have experience in those areas as well, instead of putting the years that experience is from on my actual resume. I feel like that's helped me a little bit as we move in to this 4-month period. I'm getting a little bit more traction. I'm getting a little bit more responses. Still no job yet, but that's one thing that I've learned. And then the second thing that I learned is rejection hurts a lot more than I thought it was going to hurt. And I think it's just so much rejection after so long a period of time. I'm applying for, in the beginning, I was applying for every job that looked like it fit me. Now I'm being a little bit pickier because, I can't take all that rejection all the time. And if I'm applying for jobs that I'm not qualified for or I'm not really interested in, that's going to come through. So why put myself out there like that? I also learned that I needed to stop and take care of myself a little bit more. The rejection really started to get me down and get me depressed to the point where I would cry every time I got another rejection letter. So I really learned just not to take it so hard. I'm finding other things to do with my life rather than just think about this job search all the time. So, pampering myself a little bit, getting out there and doing a little bit of gardening, trying to find people I can go out to lunch with, or reading a good book, or just watching a good show or movie on TV, something to get my mind off of always looking for jobs and all these rejections I get. So now I see one would come in and just delete, I'm done, I move on. I'm not going to dwell on these rejections anymore. I think that that's important to really watch our mental health during this whole process, because it's difficult when you're over 50. It's not the same as it was when we were in the prime of our career. Although I do still feel in the prime of my career, so there's that. And then number 3, AI is absolutely amazing, but it can't replace you. I really advocate for using AI. I think it's important, especially in our age group. I think it's one of the things that holds us back from getting jobs is that, especially larger corporations, they're really using a lot of AI. And if you can put on your resume that you've used Claude, ChatGPT, just even some basic models, it'll help you. It'll say, oh, okay, she's familiar. That's good. But when I'm talking about AI, I'm not just talking about that and what's on your resume. I'm talking about using it in your resume. It's a great help, but I highly recommend writing your resume first and then having AI help you with it. And I recommend also with your cover letter, write your cover letter first and then have AI tweak it. I found in the beginning that I was leaning on AI, I think a little bit too much, and I was getting a lot more rejections because I was just putting the job description into ChatGPT and asking it to write me a cover letter based on my experience. ChatGPT knows me, so does Claude, so do all of them. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I've given them my resume. They know everything about me. I've told them about big deals I've done and wins I've had, so they know all that about me. So I'm like, oh, okay, that can handle the cover letter. But that hasn't worked for me. I was getting a lot more rejections when I was doing it that way. So I started doing the cover letter myself and then asking ChatGPT or Claude or whichever I'm using that day for advice on making it more concise or, what can I add? How can I make this better? But that way it sounds like it's more in your voice. And I think their system picks up right away that it's AI. They have tools that they know you didn't write it, AI did. So I think I was getting a lot of auto rejections because I was using ChatGPT for my cover letter. So that's one thing I stopped. And I noticed after that I was getting a little bit, again, more engagement, people speaking to me, reaching out to me. So yeah, I think that helped a lot. And then number 4, stop waiting. Become visible now. You have to do it. You have to take charge of your LinkedIn profile. That's the first thing that we should all be doing when we're laid off. Update your LinkedIn profile. And again, AI can help you, but ask it to give you recommendations of what to do, and then you do the actual changes. But one thing that I started doing was I had AI help me basically with pictures for posts. I started posting 3 times a week, just posts about my niche in the business world. So for me, it's client relations, customer success management, that type of thing. So I started posting important things that I had learned over the years about how to treat your clients, about how to run a good client business, about how to, keep your clients informed and things like that. So I would ask ChatGPT to help me form that, or Claude, depending on what I'm using. I use all of them. But I started doing that 3 times a week. And I mentioned before that one of my side hustles that I'm trying right now is I created a QBR template that companies or employees can buy. I have it up for sale on Etsy and on Gumroad. And twice a week, I post about that specific system to try to get sales from that. And I've actually had, since I started doing this, I think I've been doing it for a month now, I've had 2 employers reach out to me on LinkedIn and offer me, not offer me positions, but ask me if I would be interested in positions with their companies. Nothing's come of that yet, but I'm actually still talking back and forth with a few people. So hopefully something does. And if it does, I can contribute it completely to just my presence on LinkedIn rather than what I've done with my resume or with my cover letter. So really important information that I learned. I would recommend that you try that out if you are looking for a job and you're over 50. And then number 5, please remember that your job is not your worth. I had a really hard time with this in the beginning. I felt like I couldn't buy things because my husband was the only breadwinner now, and we have to tighten things up, and I felt like it was all my fault, and I feel like an unproductive member of society.